Omicron, which sounds like we're being attacked by another galaxy. Now it seems might be being attacked by another variant in South Africa. No good deed goes unpunished. They called up and they said, hey, I'm seeing some variant, and it doesn't have extreme symptoms. It might be evading the vaccine. We don't have that many cases. Just want to tell you, next thing you know, a global travel ban from 8 to 10 African nations. Europe says shuts down everything. And South Africa goes, wait a second. What kind of reaction is this? Is this the punishment I get for telling you about doing something that China never did? Yeah. And when the president tried to ban Chinese China from the Chinese from traveling here, he was called a xenophobe. Now all of a sudden, ban everybody.
Yeah, they are banning 8 African countries you can't travel to and from. Japan and Israel ban foreigners from visiting, and Morocco has suspended all of their incoming flights for the next 2 weeks because the doctors are saying we'll know more in 2 weeks. But to your point, Brian, that South African doctor who identified this variant, her name is Dr. Coetzee. Right. She says it's highly transmissible. So far, cases are very mild. No one is seriously ill. We'll know more in 2 weeks. We're not sure why there is so much hype. There's no reason, she says, to panic.
Well, apparently there are 32 mutations that could make it more virulent and things like that. They just don't know. Dr. Fauci and the president had a meeting yesterday in the Oval Office along with the COVID team, and they said essentially in 2 weeks we may know more. We will know more at, let's see, 11:45 this morning. The president's going to give us an update on it, and there's the team meeting yesterday. Everybody's wearing a mask. An update on the Omicron variant. It's interesting. Betsy McCoy, who used to be lieutenant governor here in New York State, wrote an op-ed in the New York Post, and she talks about how, you know, lockdowns don't work, but travel restrictions do if they're put quickly into place. And, you know, on Wednesday, a lot of the countries around the world said, you know what, we're going to cut off travel just to be safe. Dr. Fauci said, well, we'll look into it. She says, had he done it on Wednesday, when the balance of the countries around the world did, we might actually have been able to stop it. She cites...
but we already have a 3-day hold, though. If you come from another country, you have 3 days to get to quarantine.
She said the study of the Journal of Travel Medicine found that cutting off travel to China in 2021, Australia averted a much larger pandemic. Travel restrictions helped Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and South Korea avert a lot of carnage. But Dr. Fauci said, you know what? Bowing to the World Health Organization, he said, you know what, let's just wait on that. Had he stopped it on Wednesday, maybe things would be different.
But see, here's the difference. China didn't tell us who was going to hit us. These guys are giving us a heads up on what's coming to brace for it. China still hasn't told us what's going to hit us. Now we have this thing called vaccines. We have therapeutics. The downside of lockdowns and bans, now that China still won't be transparent with us, but we have done reverse forensics on it. Every time a doctor makes a move, he should have a psychologist and economist right next to him. Because it's not just shutting down, because with that shuts down lives, livelihoods. It puts people shut down and puts them under mental duress, especially when the symptoms are so small.
The South African president says that. He says it will further damage the economies of the affected countries.
Yes, you have to... 3 of them sitting together.
Brian, I think you missed what I said in the very beginning. I said, she said, lockdowns don't work, but travel restrictions, if put into place quickly, do work.
But travel restrictions, I understand that. But lockdown,
it's a
travel restriction is a lockdown.
It's not locking down the people.
But it's shutting people out.
The problem is, if you are planning a trip, let's say next summer, you have to buy insurance, trip insurance now.
Absolutely.
Because we don't know what's going to happen. If they start shutting down countries with every variant.
So goodbye airlines, or the hotels, the people that are associated with that, the livelihoods that go with that, the mortgage payments that go with the people that work in the hotels, the people that have to pay rent to work in the hotels, the rent-a-car people that were renting to people that could be coming over here. All this has to take it into account, especially because when they say, we know nothing, it's going to take 2 weeks to decide, but all we know is the symptoms are a little mild. And the other thing is, they only have 27% vaccination rate. So how are you comparing this to that? And of course, they go back to their mantra, boosters and vaccinations. So that's going to be Joe Biden's speech today. Get a booster. He's going to lean forward. He's going to whisper it. And he's going to say, get a booster, get vaccinated. It's the patriotic thing to do.
That's what Dr. Fauci has been saying all weekend. Listen to some of this.
Travel bans, when you have a highly transmissible virus, never completely would get the virus to prevent it from coming into the country. No way that's going to happen. But what you can do is you can delay it enough to get us better prepared.
Should we expect to be seeing more lockdowns again, new lockdowns, more mandates?
You know, I don't know, George. It's really too early to say. We just really need to, as I've said so often, prepare for the worst. Let's see what the information that we're getting in real time tells us, and we'll make decisions based on the science and the evidence the way we always do. But you want to be prepared to do anything and everything.
So you got to be prepared, and we'll know more, he's going to say, through the president later today, in 2 weeks.
He should not be the lone voice. He has no credibility. This is terrible for the country.
He was talking about science. This is empirical science. 2 flights landed Friday in Amsterdam from South Africa. There were 600 passengers on board. 10% tested positive for coronavirus, and of those, 13 had Omicron. And so it's out there and it's spreading.
Dr. McCary this morning was on Fox and Friends First, and he said he does think it's probably here it's definitely in North America. There are 2 cases in Canada. Ottawa. But as far as exactly the United States, no cases have been at least reported so far here. There's
huge uproar in the Czech Republic because of this, and various European countries, and Austria. Australia's reviewing their reopening plans. So again, you cannot have a doctor alone without an economist and a psychologist next to them, and then the political leaders will make the decision from all 3. Doctors can't be deciding it because they're going to say shelter in place forever, and when Anthony Fauci won't even take in counter voices, they all speak in one voice, and if you speak up like Dr. Scott Atlas does, they try to minimize you and marginalize you, or worse yet, associate you with this horrible person called Donald Trump. He wrote a book about what it exactly was like in the medical unit of the previous administration. Here's what he told. It's in his book, but here's what he told Steve Hilton last night.
Heard from South Africa is that it's not very lethal. We don't know. I only know what I read about this, and what we hear from them. Yes, infections occur, but it seems to be a mild illness. And you know, we have to be concerned. We have to see what's going on. We have to watch the evidence. But to incite panic, to introduce policies that failed over and over and over again, like we never saw this fail before. I mean, the lockdowns do not eradicate the virus. This is almost, it's bizarre that we even have to say this, but there's some kind of bizarre myth among the governors of the world that somehow we can eradicate the virus by the lockdowns. The virus is not going to be eradicated like that.
Well, the virus did scare the stock markets toward the end of last week. The stock market futures this morning are up. About an hour ago, they were up about 200. And in other news, Merriam-Webster, the dictionary company, has officially come out with the word of the year for 2021.
COVID?
Vaccine.
Vaccine, yes.
It is.
Yes. And those that do say that they have it in Africa, they're saying, I think they're younger individuals. They did lose taste and smell and just feeling a little fatigued.
Right. This isn't the bodies piling up in India that we saw with the Delta variant. Does anyone know the difference between the two? I mean, at the same time, you react, you respond, but you can't panic. The market drops 900 points. Everyone's running for the hills. Now you have the emergency declaration in New York. No more elective surgeries here, I think up until starting on December 3rd. You know what that means in terms of scans and what it's going to, the ripple effect in terms of long-term health. People are going to stop, I guess, getting new hips and shoulders. And people have to think long-term. And this governor, who doesn't seem to know what the heck she's doing, makes Governor Cuomo seem like DeSantis.
I think a lot of people, as of the 4th of July, when Joe Biden declared essentially that we'd beaten COVID, I think people are just kind of beat down. It's like, oh, no, here comes another one. Could be. We'll know more at 11:45. You'll see the president live right here on Fox.
Right after he meets with his COVID response team.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.